tuning in for Bid Nerds, your daily nerd on the most interesting car from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. My name is John Polnik, coming to you from Las Vegas, as well as my partner Michael Deeb in San Francisco. What is going on?
What's up, JP?
Hey, special guest in the studio this week. We got Jason Alter over there just lounging.
He looks like he's starving.
He does look like he's starving. He might die in here.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
He's on a hunger strike.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get him on a future episode. We'll mic him up and get his opinion on some of these cars that we talk about. But thanks, Jason, for hanging out. We're gonna grab some lunch right after this. But for now, look, what we do on this channel is we talk about the most interesting car of the day from all the auction sites like P-Car Market, Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, blah blah blah. But look, when we bring you the most interesting car, so you don't have to figure out what the most interesting car is, then we make a prediction as to what we think the car will sell for on its respective site, and then we show you what it actually sold for or failed to sell for or whatever on its auction right after our prediction. So you get full closure here. You're going to see how much the car is worth on this episode. You don't have to wait till tomorrow or wait for when the auction ends. You're going to find out right now. But here's the thing. What we talk about is the most interesting car of the day, and I leave it to my partner Michael Deeb to kind of choose the most interesting car. Sometimes I'll do
which I do successfully.
Usually, sometimes we take suggestions from the audience. You guys should tell us what you think the most interesting car is in the future, and maybe we'll review that car in a future episode. Hit the subscribe, like, notification button right now if you haven't done so already. But this car, I gotta tell you, I don't know what this is. This hippie crap, I am not.
Yes.
This is not interesting at all.
Oh my God. Conspiracy
Snorville.
Theorists might suggest that I am trying to sabotage the show by selecting this 1969 Volkswagen Karman Ghia that is offered out of Novato, California on Bring a Trailer this week. But I will stand on the take that if you were to tell the world that you loved an air-cooled 911, how can you not love a Karman Ghia, the car that I would say is the 914's way sexier cousin? This car is beautiful. The Ghia is an Italian designer. Karman is the German manufacturing plant. So the Karman Ghia is the German car designed in Italy. And I just think these things are really pretty. Now, they are absolutely gutless. Our car is got the original drivetrain. It's powered by a 1.5-liter flat four that barely chokes out 53 horsepower. But this particular car looks to be in very nice, very presentable, very drivable overall condition. Nobody has ever wasted the money to restore a Karman Ghia, and yet most of the Karman Ghias are just rusted and hippied and beat to snot and modified and whatever. So to see one that looks like it probably did when it was on the showroom floor back in the late 60s and early 70s is kind of rare. They don't bring a ton of money. But JP, how can you not look at that car and just say, I would take off the bumpers and put a Type 4 motor in there and drive the snot out of it? That'd be so much fun. But maybe I stand alone on this. Obviously, JP doesn't seem to share my enthusiasm for this really pretty air-cooled German car. I think it's way sexier than a 914, and I like the 914, but the lines on this are really pretty. I don't like how the wheels are tucked in so tight. I think it'd be really cool to put some 5-inch Fuchs wheels on this thing and a Type 4 motor, but maybe I'm the only one. So JP, without wasting a lot of time, honestly, do you really hate this car? What do you think?
No, I mean, it really is the prettiest Volkswagen ever, I think.
Yes.
The Karman Ghias definitely have that kind of 356 look. It's 356 on a budget. There's just, I don't know. I just really... It's odd to say this being such a Porsche air-cooled guy. I really kind of hate air-cooled Volkswagens. I just hate them. I absolutely hate them. And I don't like the people that drive them. There it is, guys. It's like you go to a Volkswagen meet and the patchouli and the grunginess about everybody.
That is all fair to say.
I just don't want to be around them. I love a Volkswagen bus. Like a Volkswagen, I don't care if it's a bay window or splitty or any of that. They're just amazing and awesome. I just don't want to hang out with the people that own them. And we have a lot of good friends that own these things.
Oops. Good thing nobody watches the show.
Yeah, exactly. A good friend of ours owns Chef. Shout out to Chef over at Red Rock and Vegas
William,
Auto
right?
Fest coming up on
Chef William.
That is correct.
Yep.
He has one of the most beautiful Karmann Ghias ever. He has a black
Cab, though, right?
Yeah, and it is
with red.
black on lobster. It's just
Oof.
it's the prettiest one you'll ever see, and it is just perfectly restored. He also has split window bus and oval window beetle, blah 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 blah. Whatever. These things are just they're just not the greatest to drive. They I don't know. What do you guys think of Karmann Ghias? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Is it just me? Am I being a hater today? I don't know why I've soured so much on air-cooled Volkswagens lately.
The most controversial car we've ever covered on Mid Nerds is a Karmann Ghia, and we're a couple of self-proclaimed air-cooled nerds. I mean, what a sad state we are in.
And I'm a jerk who's owned a couple of Speedster replicas, built for Volkswagens, and I think that's why I freaking hate Volkswagens now. They feel like they're gonna every shift. You're just like, oh, this thing's gonna break. The engines feel like they're just gonna rattle apart. They're constantly overheating, even when it's not, in the desert like this. I don't know. This is a beautiful car. I think if you're going to get one, get a cab, because it's not like this thing really handles that great. So you may as well look cool while you're driving around. Be like Kill Bill. One of these killed Uma Thurman when they made Kill Bill. So
is that right?
Yeah, she. If you watch the movie, when they've got that POV shot over her shoulder, and they got the sword in between, her and the seats, which is awesome. And apparently,
sounds dangerous.
Yeah, her and Tarantino are like had kind of a falling out over this. She did not want to drive the car. She was not comfortable driving the car, but she said, I'd rather have the stunt double drive it, and Tarantino wanted her to drive, so she did. She got on the dirt road, and you could tell she's hauling butt. And it is like they cut it 2 frames. You could tell it's like one more, just a split second more. She's losing control, and then they just cut the shot to a different angle, and she winds up wrecking that thing badly.
Oh my god!
And really hurting herself. They had to postpone the shooting of that movie because.
Oh my god, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Great story.
And then that exact car, someone got a hold of years later, and I saw it. I want to say about it was like 5 or 6 years ago for sale on Craigslist somewhere in New Mexico or whatever. Somebody had gotten a hold of that car, and they put a 993 engine in it. They restored it and put this big stupid 3.6 in there.
Was the buyer's name Rami Mirza?
Now that's a Karmann Ghia I would drive for sure.
That's a Karmann Ghia he would drive.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm essing all over this Karmann Ghia today. Maybe I'm just saucy and hungry. And
I love that I picked a car that pisses you off, that you're just shitting all over it
today. Not into it today. So what's the thing going to sell for?
JP, our car sitting at $16,000 on 7 bids, and it closes tomorrow. I think that this car has a chance to make some noise just because of the condition, and it's in Northern California. It's the rights on a blue plate. It's a really cool car. So I'm going to step on my Johnson and say $26,000 brings this car home, and it sells for that. Where are you at?
I think the original Karmann Ghia design. What year? You guys can help me out on the comments. Is it like a 1959 or something like that?
Ooh, I don't think it's that old. I want to say early to mid 60s for the Ghia. I think.
Give me a second. Fill some time. I think there was the earlier design. I want to try to find a picture of the earlier design. Man.
I think there was an alternate design that ran alongside this car, but I don't think that it was a predecessor to this car, because I think I know what you're talking about.
No, there was absolutely a Karmann
with more of the squared off nose, right?
And I'm trying.
This car is just so round. I mean, JP, take the VW and the air-cooled Stigma away from the car and look at those lines. It looks like an Alfa from the early 60s. I mean, think of the Bat concept cars that Alfa made in the late 50s, early 60s. I just think the Ghia really hit it out of the park with the lines on this car. And if you could imagine some sort of Italian, V6 under the hood, like if it were a front engine or something, this would be, a $250,000 car in period. But most of these cars were repainted with a paintbrush, and they're not watertight because they all rusted out. Nobody ever parked these cars in a garage because nobody would pay for parking. So many are rotten away. And I think when you see one that's nicely presented like this car, I think my bid at $26,000 is not out of the question. So I really am surprised that you're so bearish on this thing. It's
Yeah,
kind of
I think
funny.
it's just because I just love the way the early ones look, and I just
Yeah.
think they just ruined the look when they went to this style.
Yeah. See,
Sorry
and
guys, I'm having a hard
I,
time finding
I
finding the
give this,
photo.
I give this look a standing ovation. It's very Italian. It's got a ton of character when you consider that it's a Volkswagen, and I'm happy they made it. And every time I see one, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then you hear it drive away, and it's like, and it's like it's got no guts, man. 50 horsepower. JP, I would say my G-Shock watch has more horsepower than this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is just the garage door opener at Rami's house has more than 50 horsepower.
Oh my gosh, I think I found one here.
Ask Jason if he's ever owned another cool
Jason, have you
VW.
ever owned a Karmann Ghia, an old Volkswagen?
I did not. I owned a 72 Super Beetle convertible.
There you go.
So I am having a hard time finding photos here, but
Maybe we could do it on the recap. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
look how amazing that looks.
What
And
year
I'll
is that,
find-
JP?
I don't even know. Someone from the audience is going to have to tell me. But I'll find some better pictures of it, and when we come back after the break, we'll compare the two. So I guess they call it the Type 3 Karmann Ghia.
Type
I don't
3,
know.
yeah.
Look at how gorgeous that is compared to
It's
the
pretty.
newer one. It's just the lines are better. I just feel like the new one is like a. I have a joke, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to have to skip that so we don't
Well,
get
give me a
canceled.
bid.
What's your bid? What do you think this thing's going to sell for?
I say 26 grand. Where are you at? It's at 16 right now, and it closes tomorrow. It's got 24 hours.
On what platform are we looking at?
BAT.
BAT. Okay, yeah. What'd you say, 26?
Yeah, I'm going big. I like this one.
Yeah, someone will probably pay that, but I'll go under. I'll just say 25. I just don't.
Oh, you chicken shit. Go eat lunch.
I just don't care. Why would anyone buy this thing?
Because it's cool.
These
it could
used
be
to
cool.
be $5,000 all day
And-
long, and then it was
Yeah.
a cool car. $10,000 for the nicest one there is. Okay, the only Volkswagen I would pay that much for, 20 something, would be like
bus.
a thing.
Oh,
the
thing.
nicest, like a super
Yeah,
nice
the
sport
nicest thing. Yeah, yeah.
I'd be down for spending in the 20s, but one of these, I'm just like, you can have it. All right, guys, we will find out how much this Karmann Ghia sells for right after this. Okay, guys, I want to tell you about Vegas Auto Fest. The drivers are coming. This is one of our big sponsors. It's the biggest car show of the year in Las Vegas. It's one of the coolest car shows you can possibly experience anywhere. If you haven't made plans to be part of Vegas Auto Fest on September 17th, then do it now. Go to vegasautofest.com and register your car. You think you're a car enthusiast? Doesn't matter where you live. Plan a trip to Vegas on September 17th and come out and see this show. It's like Monterey Car Week all in a day. Have you ever been to the Quail? Have you ever been to Works Reunion? Have you ever been to Amelia Island? All those car shows are amazing and great. Have you been to Luftkult? Sure, but Vegas Auto Fest is something special. Make a plan for September 17th. We'll see you in Vegas. We are back. Michael Deeb is very happy about the auction results of this silly, dumbass car. I don't know what is up my butt, but I am just so not into Volkswagens anymore. It used to be I loved air-cooled Volkswagens. I came up as a Volkswagen guy, and now I just could care less about the dang things.
Oh my god!
Look at this car. This is a really nice car. This is a really nice Karmann Ghia. I like the color. I like everything about it, except that it's a Volkswagen air-cooled car, and you're gonna have to hang out with air-cooled Volkswagen people who are the worst. What do you think?
It's a dubious compliment. That's a really nice Ghia. That's like saying, "Man, you were going so fast when I passed you."
Yeah, it is like that. So what happened? We were just, you guys, welcome back. Hit the subscribe, like, notification button, all that stuff that you're supposed to do. What happened with this auction, man?
Nothing. 12 bids, JP. 12 bids is all the action. And the irony is, the one car I picked that you basically shit on from last week is the only lot that you won last week. I beat you on the S2000. I beat you on the 993 cab. I beat you on the Boxster S, and I beat you on the 900 Turbo. Although you should file a complaint about that one because I think I failed to mention it in Canada. But the Ghia that you hated is the one you won. I thought this car was going to bring all the money at $26,000. You just cut me off and bet the under at 25. Our car, but on just $23,000 on Bring a Trailer last week, which I will contest is all the money for that car. It only took 12 bids to get there, and there you go. So the Karmann Ghia.
Yeah, air-cooled cars. Boy, I just don't know about the auction side. Volkswagens in general, we have seen every other sector of car over the last couple of years really kind of shoot up. This as a market sector, classic cars have been very strong, just like a lot of things, right? And we're seeing some corrections and inflation, a lot of different things kind of obviously affecting these markets. But we've never really seen Volkswagens get nuts. Especially the early water pumpers, the A2 Volkswagens that were really popular when I was young, but like Scirocco's and GTIs and Corrados, they've gone up, but have they gone up really leaps and bounds? The answer is no. And
Unremarkably.
Air-cooled Volkswagens, unlike air-cooled Porsches, unless you're talking about maybe a Volkswagen thing, that Volkswagen things have doubled or tripled in value,
It's the 57 window bus that brings all the money, or whatever that thing is.
Yeah,
the one with all the windows. Yeah, those are the ones that bring the collectors restored. Will pay $150,000 for those things, but that's like the only VW that's a six-figure car. And
that's not entirely true. I mean, you've got like the oval window 59s and stuff like that.
They bring six figures.
Man, I think so. I think really clean ones or original ones. But yeah, I mean, look, whatever. The point is that. Yeah, you're right.
Who cares?
These Volkswagens just don't bring big money because, let's face it, they're not great to drive. I mean,
no.
This Karmann Ghia is fun to putz around in and stuff, but you don't want to go anywhere in it. I mean, it's like the opening of the movie The Shining. The family stuck in a Volkswagen Beetle driving up a mountain pass, and and they're basically on their way to be slaughtered. That's basically what you're dealing with. And they're doing it slowly. Let's hurry up. Let's get to where the destination. You're just like, I can't. We're going up a hill. No wonder the guy killed his family or tried to kill his kid. Man. My wife loved this car. She helps us with the show behind the scenes. Thanks, Rochelle. And she was like, "What's wrong with you? This thing's great. I like this car."
Yeah.
Thank you. She's always had a soft spot for them. And I love the one in Kill Bill. We talked about that before the break.
God bless Rochelle for having better taste in cars than she does in men.
Truer words. And on that note, we're going to end this darn show and the week for Bid Nerds.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't hit the subscribe, like, or notification button, we ask you to do so now. Also, let's get some comments, man. Tell us
pick
about
a car for us.
Pick some cars. Tell us that we're idiots. Tell us that we're wrong. Tell us why. We want to hear you guys nerd out as much as we do. So let's get to it, guys. Nerd out with us every day of the week, Monday through Friday. We will see you next. Well, I guess it'll probably tomorrow. This is probably a Friday video, so we'll see you next week.
Nerd! Get those words!